All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Jets Flight Squad. In for another episode. Raiders and Jets recap. Raiders and Jets recap. But is there really much to recap? No, I'm just kidding. Listen, me and DK have been talking a little bit behind the scenes. Gunny's going to come in a little bit, about 5 or 10 minutes from now, and we've been chopping it back and forth. Good things about this game, bad things about this game, but overall, we fumbled. And now these next two games are going to be very crucial. DK, how you feeling on a Monday?
Gunny.
It was good. Listen, I did everything I can to get here as fast as I could, boys.
Hey, no, it's all good. It's all good. We literally just started. We were telling him I bet he'll be in like a couple minutes.
Right.
Yeah. So as far as things go, right? I titled this for a reason to try to keep things in perspective. We fell below 500. We're only a game under it. It's not the end of the world. Last night.
The end of the world.
Okay, so last night, keeping it
Stitch, I swear to God, stop, boy.
Last night was the end of the world for me. All right, I seen the L. My mind went to dark places.
Gunny needs to be a meme right now. He needs to be a meme. Look at his face. He's a meme.
I woke up this morning. I put some things in perspective. So we're a game under 500. The Bills we play the Bills before the Dolphins, right? So the Bills,
we play the Bills
is going to either be the nail in our season or it's going to be the only reason we're still alive. We're not fighting for a wild card spot right now. Basically, it's we win the division or it's bust. And to win the division, we're going to need 4 wins. If we go 3-3, it's a wrap. So in these next 2 weeks, we know for sure whether we have a fighting chance or we don't. That's the picture that's in my head right now.
Agreed. I agree.
Again, that is it's a far-fetched situation, right? Because you have to beat the Bills again, which for the record, I did see in like the last 2 years or something like that. The Bills haven't beat a Zach Wilson-led Jets team. So we have that going for us.
Yep. Yes.
The Dolphins are scary, though. Having to sweep them twice is a concern. But then you have the Patriots. So even if you can split with the Dolphins, you have a solid chance of still winning the division. With that said, though, I'm at my wits' end with Robert Saleh and Nathaniel Hackett and this offense as a whole, right? And it's not even the Zach Wilson conversation anymore for me. It is you have a undisciplined, self-inflicting team that doesn't allow you to do even the most basic functions of an offense. I'm old. I'm not that old, but I have the old school mentality. I don't care about all of this creative play calling and all this kind of stuff. At one point or at some point, there has to be a setting where you say, all right, 11 men on our side, 11 men on their side. We're going to run. You're going to know we're going to run. We're still going to punch you in the mouth and run through you. Or we're going to pass because we have a superstar in Garrett Wilson. You don't have anybody that can stop him. We have a top 10 tight end in Conklin. You're not going to be able to focus on him all of the time. We have Brees the Beast. Why aren't we implementing a Giants, rushing attack? We just talked about this. They consistently are willing to give him the ball 30 times. Josh Jacobs, now that they're turning things around, they're willing to consistently give him 25 plus touches. Right. And we're still twiddling our fingers trying to figure out how to get Alan Lazard going. Or we're still letting Jeremy Ruckert rot on the bench. Right. We're still not rushing consistently to the side that's been most effective with Mekhi Becton. Like there's a lot of the minimal basic things that have me very confused and very pissed off at this moment. And to be honest, I'm calling it in mentally in my head right now. The outward approach is very optimistic.
Is that tequila or whiskey, Gunny?
That is straight rum.
Rum.
That is.
Yeah. So let's say I know that bottle.
Fresh bottle. I had to get me a fresh one because I went through the one I had yesterday. I'm sorry. I went through the other handle I had last night watching that game. Listen, I love you guys, man. Y'all know I got nothing but love for you guys.
Yeah.
What are we doing right now? It's mock draft season, boys.
No,
it is mock draft season.
No, it's not.
And the season ended when AR went down. And I think what happened was we convinced ourselves that Zach Wilson, with the ceiling of being only a backup QB, would be able to go ahead and completely eliminate who he was from 2 years past. He got outplayed last night by some kid named Aiden O'Connell.
A rookie, yeah.
A rookie, you know what I'm saying? An interim head coach, an interim OC.
Mr. Jeff Saturday vibes.
It's one of those things where, as much of a Zach truther I've been, literally going into this year where I said to myself, okay, cool. You know what? Zach gets to sit behind Aaron Rodgers. He gets to learn behind Aaron Rodgers. This kid could graciously just take the helm after Rodgers retires in a couple of years. I don't even have that energy anymore to pretend like this kid can figure it out. It's one of those things where his ceiling is backup quarterback and not a very good one. Like you're seeing backups like Joshua Dobbs leading a team to a victory after landing 3 days prior, coming in unprepared, didn't even know anybody's name on the damn roster, win a game. You saw him win a game last week as well. You saw CJ Stroud go toe-to-toe with freaking Joe Burrow. This is the Texans we're talking about. This is still a team that is in the beginning of a rebuild. He went toe-to-toe, literally.
Yeah.
With who's their number one wide receiver? They don't have a number one wide receiver.
Probably.
Tank Dell is the number one guy, and he's a 2 at best on most teams. The fact of the matter is, we have no quarterback, a healthy quarterback on this Jets roster that's worth a damn. That's just facts. If they're not willing to play Trevor Siemian, Tim Boyle, God, I don't want to even see him go out there. If Zach is the only option, the season ended when Aaron Rodgers went down, and it's looking more and more like this front office, to include the coaching staff, accepted that. I think after last night, man, I have to be real. I've got to be real, man. I can't do this anymore.
Fortitude for this.
I don't, bro. I don't. I
already brought out the rum bottle. Of course he's done.
Bro. I did a mock draft this morning. You know what I'm saying? Feeling pretty good about that.
I am starting to prep on head coaching candidates we need to be aware of. And
but the thing is this though, I don't think they're gonna fire. They're gonna fire anybody.
I don't think they are either.
That's exactly what makes this a little bit worse.
He said the same thing.
I said it on camera, right DK. I don't think they're gonna do it.
So here's what I envision happening, right? Robert Saleh, Zach Wilson ultimately will be scapegoats. Nathaniel Hackett, Aaron Rodgers will get his way. He'll probably come in at the very least as a primary candidate to replace Saleh's head coach. Jeff Ulbrich is going to get a head coaching opportunity somewhere else. Tony Odom, safeties coach, he was getting opportunities elsewhere. I forget the name of our cornerbacks coach, but he was getting looks as well. So now you're talking about basically a complete wash of your defensive staff that has led to top 5 defensive units. Nathaniel Hackett comes in. He finally gets his quarterback. Maybe we turn things around. But I see huge shakeups coming. I just don't see how you don't survive. Saleh's going to finish with something like I think he has 13 wins so far. He's going to be up to like 40-something losses for his record. No playoff appearances. You've had elite units, but you've had some of the most historically tragic offenses as well. Make it make sense to me how he stays.
I'll tell you why he stays. Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly.
The reason why Aaron Rodgers came to the Jets is because he said he loved what he saw in the head coach, the general manager, and what they've built at One Jets Drive. The fact that he went down with 4 snaps into the season doesn't take that away from that he is our best chance to potentially see this team achieve a ring before we die at his age 40 season. And ultimately what it boils down to is because he went down and Zach Wilson was supposed to be freaking a backup for the next freaking couple of years, right. That's the scapegoat. Because I don't think anybody in the front office believed Zach Wilson was him, that he was going to be the dude to go ahead and bring us into the promised land this year if anything went down. That wasn't the intention. I will say this. I did an entire video today where I'm putting blame where blame needs to be put, but I'll drop it later on today. And it's not Coach Saleh. It's not even Zach Wilson. I really don't even blame Zach Wilson. At this point, he's shown us who he is. We should all just accept he's shown us who he is over the last couple of years. It's our fault that we keep expecting this kid to all of a sudden become the next Patrick Mahomes. This is our fault. We keep putting ourselves in these situations to believe, like, you know what, he can get it done week in and week out because we decided to go ahead and hurt our own feelings. This isn't Zach's fault. This isn't Zach's fault at all. We know who he is. He's been showing us who he is for the last couple of years. Ain't nothing changed. He's doing the best he can with the limited mental processing ability that he's got. And that's his problem. The game's too fast for him. Zach Wilson is unable to go ahead and process fast enough to play at the NFL level. Kid has amazing arm talent. We saw him do some awesome stuff last night, but he does it sporadically. He can't do it consistently. Yeah. The interception that ended the game, he stared down Allen Lazard so much that he didn't see three other open options.
Yeah.
That would have given him a first down or even the screen pass to freaking Brees with the what? I mean, he can outrun, bro. Watching, and then of course 50-50. Myself, I had to do the all 22 again. Why? Because I'm an idiot. Because I felt like by watching it, it's going to go ahead and give me more insight on this, how bad. No, Zach Wilson lost us that game last night. Now, granted, the offense didn't play well. You got drop passes. The penalties are just ridiculous at this point. Yeah. But even with all that, you had the ball in your hands. You're driving down the field. Guys were getting open, and you stare down Allen Lazard and throw it to the one spot out of all the other open options you had, the one place you shouldn't have thrown it, you threw it. I can't do it anymore, man. I just can't. Look, if we're not going, there's no way we make the playoffs this year unless we win the division. And I love the positivity right now. Maybe on Friday night, maybe Saturday night, I'll start getting back on the high. I'm a Jets fan. Maybe the belief will start setting back in. But I know for right now, as we're seeing what I've seen, I'm looking at mock drafts. I'm looking at mock drafts and what can we put around Aaron Rodgers for next season for it to actually matter? Because what's going to happen is ultimately we wasted another year of an elite defensive unit, another year closer to these guys needing to get their contracts, and we can't keep the band together. And our schedule was custom made for the Jets to go ahead and break this playoff curse this year. I mean, 7 games away from our home field, bro. Nothing back to back. We didn't have to, but it's. And the more and more I look,
one of the top 5 teams to get rest this year. Yeah, it was a lot.
The more it was literally tailor-made for us to go ahead and just beat some mid teams, a couple of good teams, and make it to the playoffs. And once you're in the playoffs with a defense like ours, anything can happen. That's not our story, and we're not. I'm sorry, we're not beating Buffalo next week. There's no way we're beating freaking Miami. I think Miami is going to roll us because both teams only need to score 10 points. Both teams only need to score 10 points and it's over. We're not outscoring those guys. I hate.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till we get to Miami game. I will say,
I'm gonna wait till I get to Miami game too.
I'm gonna wait till we get to Miami game. I have faith that with the Bills now, it's less of a conversation of they're more talented or they've had the experience or what they've achieved in the last few years. It's more so you've shown us who you are when you play us, and whether that's you playing down to our talents or us overachieving, doesn't matter. I'm not giving the Bills an obvious W anymore. Right. The Miami Dolphins game, yes, scary. I still think we could split. Tua is still the same guy that's made of glass. You never know what will happen during that game. So I'll wait and see. But the first loss we get, I'm probably going to jump immediately in the same boat as Gunny. Again, I have head coaching videos pending. I got mock draft stuff that'll be pending, within the next 2 weeks, depending on what happens. But with that said, again, the blame game, I think, has been assigned to everybody. I think the number that we need to be aware of, and this is very generic, but the last 5 games, we've had 43 penalties. This is why I take a look at Robert Saleh, take a look at Nathaniel Hackett, and I just start seeing red because it makes absolutely zero sense that, and I think Zach Wilson said it perfectly last night, it feels like, and it damn near almost looks like, every time we get somewhat of a big play, it gets called back with a penalty. And you have a handful of guys that are contributing to that. Mekhi Becton was one of them. He's actually turned that around a little bit. And a lot of his issues were false starts. CJ Uzomah is hands down the number 1 contributor to nullifying touchdowns, nullifying field goal position, and nullifying big plays. And then it's Allen Lazard. And we've wasted $11 million on this man.
Yeah.
Looks like he's a deer in headlights every single time the ball is thrown in his direction. Robert Saleh said during his press conference today that they're working on new personnel groupings, whatever. I don't know what that means because he's always given us some pretty generic stuff and we roll out the same faceted stuff. But at this point in the season, with the packages and everything you've done before now, trying to get it to work out, nothing's worked. Play the guys that were balling out during the offseason. Give Jeremy Rucker, CJ Uzomah snaps like we've been asking for the entire time. Alan Lazard is a goddamn dud. Throw in Jason Brownlee. You did some good things with Xavier Gibson for the second game in a row, and then you start quitting on these guys. Dalvin Cook actually has some explosive runs this game, and then he disappeared out of the script. So I don't know what to do with them. Again, mentally, I'm calling it in. On the outside, I'm gonna, continue my rah-rah. Let's hold it together. But if we take another L, and unfortunately it's against a division opponent, the next L we take against one of them, that's pretty much the knife in the back for us, which is tough.
It is very tough. It's tough to see. Accountability, discipline, both sides. It's just even some of the missed tackles on defense, but overall they played elite. Offense, penalties after penalty.
Talking about the defense.
What? Huh? What's up?
I said we should be ready to fight people that are talking about this defense. Top
sorry,
5?
Somebody's talking about who?
Top 5 with the shit that we're doing?
Wait, who has? Okay,
scroll through
oh
any
my
press
God.
conference because I'm not going to drop names. Scroll through any
I'm
press conference
upset
video.
with Sauce Gardner because of the missed tackle, but people are saying that, not realizing he went for the punch out. He missed. The defense right now is doing things that is uncharacteristic for one reason and one reason only. They know they have to score in these games or they're not going to win the game. They're doing more than they're supposed to be doing in an attempt to get the ball to score in these games because they know if we don't do it, the offense ain't going to do it. We ain't going to win these games. That's what you're seeing last night. Yeah, I'm upset that he freaking didn't wrap up and get the tackle, but in the mindset of realizing he went to try to punch the ball out, I get it. Trying to get a turnover. Why? Because literally in this situation, the offense can't move the ball. If we can get a turnover and somehow score on defense, that's the best chance we got. Our defense right now is trying to play offense when they're playing defense. That's how bad it's gotten.
They've said it in the press conference.
They've said it. And
Amos
has said it last week in halftime. Amos even said then too.
If anyone's blaming the defense, man, I don't know what you guys are watching. It's literally one-sided football. I'm sorry, two-sided because even the special team shows up. Special teams and defense are doing their part, and they're not even asking the offense to be elite, bro. Like, the defense and special teams are so good at their job. They're like, yo, just score a touchdown for us. Just give us something. Special teams scored points. Defense scored points. Offense is like, bruh. Just you guys are all getting paid millions of dollars to go ahead and score points. You know what? We don't need you to do too much, but give us something, anything. It's embarrassing what we've witnessed the last couple of games when you're talking about offense in an NFL where they've geared it. They've made the rules more conducive to scoring points. It's embarrassing what I saw one play that I don't know what the hell freaking, Hackett was calling.
Don't tell me the Garrett Wilson throw.
Huh?
Don't tell me you're going to bring up the Garrett Wilson throw.
Oh, that was heinous as hell. It looks like
that doesn't even deserve to be talked about. That doesn't need to be talked about at all.
Wilson, you just shouldn't throw the ball if you're a Jet. That's what it seems like. If your last name is Wilson, don't throw the ball.
Yeah, don't do it.
I'm talking about I don't know what he called it, and at the same time they had the cameras on Rodgers, like a split screen thing, and he's calling it. You see Rodgers do this to hear the freaking thing, and he just starts shaking his head, and sure enough, the play was a sack on by freaking Zach. So it even looks like Rodgers is saying they're like, what the fuck? All right, it's abundantly clear that Hackett is here because of Aaron Rodgers. And I really could bring some of the magic that he had with the Jaguars when he had a bum like Blake Bortles and made him look like a starting caliber quarterback. But I'm sorry to say this, man, but it almost seems like LaFleur was definitively more creative for us than Hackett. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I miss LaFleur.
DK, that's what I said.
This is blasphemy to me.
DK, didn't I say that?
Blasphemy. Look, stats aren't everything on paper. When you take a look at Zach Wilson with LaFleur last year and Nathaniel Hackett with Zach this year, he's clearly better this year. On film, statistically, he looks better. People aren't factoring in that a lot of the stats they're looking at from last year are with Mike White being tossed in, Joe Flacco, all that kind of stuff. This shouldn't even be an argument we're having. Zach Wilson is clearly a better quarterback under Nathaniel Hackett. What I will say is Nathaniel Hackett's a lot more sporadic with how he wants to use his weapons. Bart Scott said it pretty well. Are we a run team? Are we a pass team? Are we a gadget team that's surviving on trick plays? Nobody has any goddamn idea. We have no idea. We just started getting Garrett Wilson the ball consistently. Right. We just started being able to get huge plays out of Breece Hall, and he's basically creating those himself. We just started utilizing Tyler Conklin, but he's only coming up with big plays in the clutch when we absolutely need him, and we're not targeting him at any other point. Like, we have zero identity as an offense, and if anything, that's the biggest indictment on Nathaniel Hackett.
I see Wild Wave said something, man. He 100% right. Wild Wave says that it was a bad angle. Yeah, that one right there. Trying to strip it. When you strip it, you either have the guy lined up or you corral the guy in the puncher. And I 100% agree with you, Wild Wave. I just answered you in the chat. The thing is this, though. Sauce only does that because he's desperate to do something that can potentially put points on the board. If the offense was doing their job, if the Jets offense could at least get a touchdown or two on the board, Sauce never has to feel the need to do that. He's all about stopping the play and then moving on to the next down. Like, I really believe these guys have put themselves in a situation where they know if they want to have a chance at saving this season, if they want to have a chance at having potentially Aaron Rodgers come back for us to ride into the sunset, into the playoffs, knowing we have a legitimate quarterback, the defense knows, like, we have got to move heaven and earth to get points on the board so we have a shot. I think that's what we're seeing. And again, I'm not going to excuse it because at that particular point it sucks. I just do your job because then at least we can be focused and be just mad on the offense, right? But that one play, we can sit there and say it cost us the game, and it's sad that we got to say that, man, our defense gave up a touchdown and it cost us the game. Everything else they did, you know what I'm saying? But they gave up that touchdown and it cost us the game. I just, man, Sauce is one of the surest tacklers at the cornerback position in football. Like, he had like a 95% tackle rate or something last year, which is about 15% better than the average starting cornerback. Like, the dude doesn't miss
tackles. Was different for me. I still don't love Sauce's tackles. A lot of
no. His tackling is ugly. It doesn't look ugly, but it's all he stops him. He gets him down. But like, it's
job done, but it's
he gets the job done. You're right. It's ugly as hell to watch.
But the first two steps suck. But the third step is nice.
I can't believe I can't believe we're here again. Like, if I'm being honest, I feel like these are the same debates between the fan base that we had last season happening all over again. And I just can't believe that we're doing this again.
I do have a different one because we kind of touched on it a little bit, but I've been hearing this narrative out here, right? And I'm not talking about since the beginning of the season. Let's just say, us coming out of the bye week, we have the 4-4 record. If we had a healthy Aaron Rodgers that magically came back at this point, whatever. Would he be the one thing that saves this offense? Because I still feel like it's a bigger issue than just saying Zach Wilson's a bad quarterback, Aaron Rodgers an elite one, and he'll change the efficiency of our offense. Yes, we'll score more touchdowns. Yes, we'll be able to manipulate defenses and stuff. But either the way I look at it, either the team obviously isn't responding to Zach Wilson, Nathaniel Hackett, Robert Saleh, and you're seeing a unmotivated, undisciplined team that's basically just they're kind of on that emotional roller coaster, right? You have Garrett Wilson damn near, crying in his post press conference, speech. Tyler Conklin saying, "What else you want us to do?" et cetera. But I don't look at Aaron Rodgers as the savior for this team. Like, even if we win the division and we walk in with him being able to start in the playoffs, I don't see things magnificently changing 180 degrees.
I 1,000% disagree. And I'll tell you why. We don't need Aaron Rodgers being the elite quarterback we've known him to be for this team to win games and win games convincingly. 40% of Aaron Rodgers is going to be a top 15 quarterback, and the Jets would have been right now 8-1. 40% of Aaron Rodgers. The Jets right now would have been 8-1. I believe that wholeheartedly. It's not about how bad the offensive line is, because I get it. They're sporadic. They're all over the place. We don't know what they're going to see week in and week out. It's the simple fact that when you see Zach Wilson in general, right? Like, I think earlier in the game last night, he was getting the ball out of his hands in 2.4 seconds. They were saying, like, wow, fast, right? But he's doing that because he's only allowed to look at one side of the field, get rid of the ball. Aaron Rodgers can do that while scanning the entire field. Aaron Rodgers can do that by reading the defense before he even snaps the ball, understanding where the weaknesses are going to be. His ability to go ahead and take advantage and beat up on defensive pre-snap is what makes the dude a freaking monster. Not to mention he can throw the ball, all the arm angles, he can get it down the field. Like, my biggest fear for Aaron Rodgers is, can he protect himself if he comes back this year? That just, to me, it just sounds ridiculous for you to come back in season from a torn Achilles. But by all indications, he's trying to do it in December. If somehow the Jets are within reach of the AFC East, if somehow, by some miracle, the Jets are within reach of the AFC East and Aaron Rodgers comes back and he can stay healthy, the Jets are going to the AFC East championship, the AFC championship game. I'll put my mortgage on that. The Jets will go to the AFC championship game. If somehow, some way, he can come back and they're within reach of the AFC East, because there's the wild cards are going to the AFC North. They've got 4 playoff teams in that division. So if we were hoping we can sneak in with a wild card, it's not going to happen. I think the AFC North has literally 4 teams right now that are all playoff caliber
tiebreakers. Everybody
all over the place. Yeah. The Pittsburgh Steelers, if you look at it, the Pittsburgh Steelers are the New York Jets in terms of how they're built, right? Incredible defense, a bum quarterback, but they're 6 and what? 7 and something. They're 6 and
their point differential is just about the same as us, if not slightly worse.
Ours, but they're getting it done, right? Yep. That's how good our roster is. If we had a top 20 quarterback, that's where Pickett is. 21, I think it is right now in terms of in the NFL. The 21st ranked quarterback. He ain't even average. He's below mid. But the team around him is good enough where they're battling for the AFC North with freaking the Bengals and the goddamn Ravens. Zach Wilson is not even allowed to scan the entire field because they know mentally he's just too slow. If you watch it, every time he got the ball out quickly, his head never goes past left or right of where he's looking.
It's not 360. It's always one. It's always
boom,
one.
He'll do 1, 2. That's it. Those are his 2 options on that side. Here's your 2 options on that side. And it's almost like he was told, bitch, don't even bother looking the opposite way of wherever we're trying to get the ball. He's not fast enough mentally. And the moment he has to think ever, we see the result. When he has to think in the game, it's a wrap. It's Rodgers comes here. Hackett doesn't matter. Let's be honest. Hackett's not the OC if Rodgers is here. Rodgers is calling his own plays at the line of scrimmage. He's going to call the freaking audibles. Like, if Rodgers is here, we get a legitimate quarterback and we get a legitimate offensive coordinator in one beautiful package. And that's going to alleviate a lot of the concerns that we currently have. The ability for him to read a defense pre-snap is going to open up so many opportunities for this offense. 40% of Aaron Rodgers right now, we're happy as pig and shit, bro. Like, we're laughing because we're number 1 in the AFC East. Like, we're living the dream with a 40% Aaron Rodgers. While we've seen, we saw the Chiefs game. that was Zach Wilson at 100% capacity. Maybe even some freaking afterburners. That was Zach Wilson putting everything he had into the game.
Borrow time, maybe.
That's it. That's Zach Wilson's ceiling, man. The kid, again, I don't blame him. He's busted his ass to get to this point. Unfortunately, it's the NFL, and there's very few people that can play the quarterback position at this level. It's just not everybody can do it, right? Like, so he's gotten here, great. Unfortunately for him, mentally, he can't speed that up. All that arm talent goes to waste. It's sad because he's very gifted in terms of ability, in terms of what he can do with that arm. But man, yes, man, DK, love you, brother. I love your thought process in regards to, but that's how bad Zach is playing, dog. Like it, and when you watch it over, like even when I try to calm down to find, I was literally saying, you know what, people are hating on Zach, but I was more mad about the penalties and the coaching last night. I was more mad about the penalties and coaching last night. And then I decided to sit down today and watch the All-22, and I realized, oh my God, nope. Yeah, it's 75% Zach and then 25% of the rest. Like it sucks, but the team did enough. The coaching did enough to where hey, listen, man, just throw the ball where you're supposed to throw the ball. You've got two options to the right. He stared down Alan Lazard the entire way when Breece Hall would have easily gotten the first down. I think Breece Hall would have scored with the when he threw the interception to Alan Lazard. Breece Hall literally, I forget who it was who picked him. I think Lazard actually picked who was covering Breece. Breece had a wide open freaking angle, man, to the pylon. Just put it out there in front of him. Let him do the work. He's, again, man, great kid, man. I think he's a wholesome guy. Like, if my daughters were of dating age, I'd let my daughters date freaking a Zach Wilson, bro. Like,
hell no.
But
I'm like, no, I'm sorry.
But for me,
I'm sorry.
For me, he can't play NFL. He can't play quarterback. No, I'm saying right now. I think Zach Wilson's like a really good kid. Like in terms of a quality dude. Like the kid is very, very humble. Like he's got a good head on his shoulders in terms of
all he does is fumble his
stuff
career
like that.
away.
But that's it. Now, when it comes to him playing NFL quarterback, unfortunately, that's just not his forte. It's just not. Aaron Rodgers, 40% of Aaron Rodgers has this team right now at 8-1. I believe that wholeheartedly. The only game I can't even find a way we win is the Dallas game. I think the Dallas game, it didn't matter if we had freaking
from everybody.
That was a wrap, bro. Prime Tom Brady wouldn't have won that game for us. That was a wrap. Yeah. The Dallas Cowboys came for that for us, and they got us convincingly. But every other game, 40% of Aaron Rodgers wins those games. I guarantee it. 40% of Aaron Rodgers wins those games.
We're in every game because of our defense, but
exactly,
it's true.
I still don't think he's fixing the offense to that degree. You still have Alan Lazard, who might as well have broken hands. You still have Michael Carter, who's not contributing anything positive. He's dropped more passes probably than anybody but Lazard on this offense. CJ Uzomah can't catch the ball to save his life. He's costing us with penalties, so he's in the negative.
Question. Do y'all really think if Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback of the New York Jets,
I think
those bitches would still be out there? They're already sitting
100%.
He'd have Compton out there. He'd have Ruckert out there. He'd have Garrett Wilson out there. He'd probably have freaking Gibson and Brownlee out there at this point. There is no way.
Or Malik Taylor.
Taylor. There's no way. If Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback of the Jets right now, he hasn't already said, like, I don't trust them. Get them off my fucking field.
My argument exactly. So if Aaron Rodgers is our shadow head coach or offensive coordinator, you're pushing to come back this season, which means you 100% believe in the talent on this team. You're trying to do a miracle comeback. You have your favorite offensive coordinator in there. You have this defense that has you, salivating from the mouth. But you mean to tell me you will allow Nathaniel Hackett or Zach Wilson to get in the way of you being able to come back and do just that? You're still leaving Alan Lazard out there. You're still leaving Michael Carter. You're letting Dalvin Cook prior to last night run things into the ground. You
mean Salah? Yeah. Or are you talking about Rodgers?
Basically, it's the whole coaching hierarchy. But if Aaron Rodgers has as much power as we're, leading to believe, I don't think that he would still allow that. I don't think he'd allow, like we just mentioned, as many of the players that are out there creating negative problems to stay out there if he had that much problem.
You know, think about it. Why would he say anything right now when he can't do nothing to help the team?
Yeah,
Oh,
you want to come back.
I
You're watching your season
He
get
has a
tanked
headset
into
on,
the
that's
shitter.
it.
Bro, but even still, right? He's doing everything he can to hopefully come back and get cleared. Just because he wants to come back in the summer doesn't mean he'll get medically cleared for it.
Right.
Imagine sitting on the sidelines trying to go ahead and say, "Hey, Lazard, you suck. Hey, freaking, you suck," when you can do nothing to contribute to what's causing the suck, right? Like
Your
you can't be
contributions
out
is
there.
to improve this offense for when you return.
Yeah. And once he's playing and they're dropping his passes and they're making him look bad, he'll be like, all right, it wasn't just a kid. They just freaking suck. They need to go. At the end of the day, if I'm Rodgers right now, I'm thinking that ball seemed good. Maybe he put too much zip on it, right? Maybe it was the you got to look at all that and wonder if these guys dropping it because of a miscommunication from Zach and they had to run another route, or is it too much zip on it, not enough touch? If I'm Rodgers, I'm analyzing both of it, and it's hard for me to, as an alpha, to go out there and say, hey, the reason why Zach Wilson looks like this is because you guys are just suck. But if I'm out there and I'm him and I know I'm freaking Aaron Rodgers and you're dropping my passes, I'll be like, oh, okay, it wasn't him. Y'all do suck. You're going to have to sit. I think there's him balancing some things right now because, again, one of the things that attracted him to being here was the culture. And I do believe that Aaron Rodgers is here right now to try to rebuild his image from what it was the last few years in Green Bay. You know what I'm saying? This is the back end of his career. This dude is trying to go ahead and like fine-tune his legacy. Right. If he was out there because he's trying to do that, there's no ifs, ands, or buts because he knows who he is, and he's going to make sure he's making it as easy for his guys as possible. If they're messing up, they're not playing. I'm telling you, I think Uzomah, I even think he benches boy Lazard. I think Uzomah and Lazard would have both been told, sit your ass down. And
even
then we'd be seeing Brownlee.
You never know what Cobb. I think Cobb too.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
At this point, everybody could have got it.
I mean, honestly, everybody that Aaron Rodgers had on his list has been a complete debacle. So
even Billy Turner.
Oh my God!
Especially Billy Turner. My God, he can go ahead and sit out the rest of the season and get that.
Yeah, the offensive line, by the way, looked good.
Props to Mitchell.
Props
to Mitchell. I said this earlier. Props to
Max Mitchell going against Max Crosby. I was impressed.
Me too.
I watched that. I was like,
Max is better than other guys. Max, we know what we got.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take that all. I was sitting there like
contain. That's all he wanted.
He literally
contain him. That's it.
It was him versus Max. He didn't get a lot of help. When you go back and watch all 22, I was thinking like maybe there was some chipping going on. Yeah. No, bro. They were like,
Uzomah didn't help at all.
You're out. Yeah, Uzomah was caught. Oh my God, man, I hate that dude, dog. I lost my mind last night watching those freaking plays come back twice. Yeah. But I just at this point, I just don't see how we win. I'm looking at our next few games, right? We've got the Bills, the Dolphins, the Falcons, the Texans, the Dolphins again, the Commanders, the Browns, and then the Patriots. If I'm being honest with you, I wouldn't bet anything that the Jets can beat any of these teams.
I had us finishing 6-11. I think worst case scenario. There's 2 wins.
Let me guess. And Falcons and then the Commanders. You got us beating the Patriots?
Look, Sam Howell's nice. I'm not the Commanders are still on the upswing.
Somebody said, we'll definitely beat the Texans. And I was like, have you been watching the Texans ball? No. See, bro, CJ Stroud is real. That dude is real. He said we're gonna.
I knew it during one of his interviews. I heard. I think after they won maybe 2 or 3 in a row, and he was like, he basically said, we got fans coming out to pay, we got people coming to watch me, yada yada yada.
I love
this.
Kid,
isn't
bro.
acceptable whatsoever. We're getting this right in practice immediately, and then you literally seen them start stringing out the wins. I was like, we never got that in our quarterback room. I'm pissed.
No,
dog.
Exactly. Living out here in Houston, it sucks even more, right? Because I gotta deal with the fan bases of like, man, if the Jets had a guy like CJ Stroud, y'all be Super Bowl contenders. And I'm like, and I cry inside because they're right. And the Jets have never. When's the last time we had a CJ Stroud caliber pick? You know what I'm saying? Like he's the kind of guy that wins in spite of the bad things around him. And that's what it is, man.
Because they should have been taken. They should have a top 5 pick.
Hell yeah. They keep building. They started the rebuild with this last draft.
Yeah,
A whole new regime. They're literally right now in contention for the AFC South to win it because CJ Stroud went toe to toe with Joe Burrow and hit him in the mouth. Like CJ Stroud's doing things that nobody in the AFC East has done. Well, we did. We beat the Eagles. I guess that's good. But like beat a Super Bowl contending freaking team. Right now, the Dolphins and the Bills are still trying to figure that part out. We did it against, the NFC, but we can't do it against the AFC, so it doesn't really matter. But Stroud is doing that, man, and the kid is such a. It sucks when they're in the AFC and I'm like, I like the kid, bro. Like I like the way he carries himself. I like his game. The dude
it's like with me with Dobbs. I'm fanboying over Dobbs right now.
I love Dobbs, bro. I'm so pissed off
we
didn't do something. Man, y'all gotta watch my video that I'm dropping because the person that I'm blaming for so much of this stuff, dog, because Dobbs right there was right for the taking. Could have gotten Dobbs, and we'd be probably feeling a lot better about life right now if we had Dobbs on the roster. But oh my God, man, the Jets, you said 6 and 11?
6 and 11.
I honestly said 6 and 11 as well, but not because I had confidence we could beat any other team, but because I know we're the Jets and we're gonna win a game we're not supposed to win. Like that's literally the way I was like, I said we got 2 more in us. We'll win a game. We'll win a couple of games we're not supposed to win. But man, like somebody said, well, if we go on a run and we win out, I'm like, shut up.
Yeah, it's not happening.
This team is not winning out. They can't score a touchdown.
Since
it's 2023.
You know what's bound to happen though, because we always find a way to score ourselves. What'll happen is because, like we mentioned, wild card is out of the picture. AFC East division champions are the only way we're getting to the playoffs.
Exactly.
So if we lose to the Bills and then we lose to the Dolphins, suddenly Zach Wilson will tap into that Chiefs version that said, "Hey, I can do this. I have nothing to lose, and we'll win 3 out of like the next 5 games or whatever it is that's left, and then we'll end up picking like 19th or whatever in the draft, and we'll see how the shit show goes from there."
So Aaron Rodgers said that he's planning on being back
mid-December.
Now,
mid-December, right?
I would say he's aiming for that Jets versus Dolphins December 17th game. That's what I would say. So that gives the Jets versus Bills, Dolphins versus Jets, Falcons versus Jets, Texans versus Jets. If the Jets don't win 3 of these next games, there is no reason for Aaron Rodgers to play this year.
No, just stay out. Just stay out.
Okay, we're on the same page. I look at it like
2 weeks. I think 2 weeks. I don't think
we have to win. We have to win one of these next 2 games. We have to have a 4-2 record in this division to even think about winning it.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It's 2. I'm not saying 3. I'm saying 2.
I don't know, man. So that's 1, 2, 3. That's 4 games between now and then that mid-December game. You saying if we go 2 for 2, we would still be below 500, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty positive the Bills are going to win tonight.
The only games that matter are the rest of our AFC East matchups. Every other game, it doesn't matter. We're not getting a wild card spot,
bro. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. That's 4 AFC East games.
Because hold on, let me see. I want to see if somehow we actually win these next 2 games against the Bills and Patriots. Let me take a look at what the records are in the division.
You mean
we are
Bills and Dolphins next.
Yeah, I don't
see it.
Patriots are at the end of the year.
They're the last game of the year. Could you imagine like that game is to either win the AFC East if we win it and to send the Patriots for the first overall pick if they God. That would be so freaking awesome.
Please don't.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That would be that. Talk about a dream, right? Like we get to it. Rodgers is back. Jets go on a ridiculous winning streak. They're in a position to go ahead and win the AFC East. All they got to do is beat the Patriots. If they beat the Patriots, they send the Patriots to the first overall pick for the first time in over 20 years.
Oh my God,
man. That would be
I mean, that's like Decker moments. That's Decker and Fitzpatrick moments. I'm just saying.
In our division, Miami's 2-1. They would be 2-2. Okay, let me actually just go in order. Buffalo's 1-2 in the division right now, so they're already, counting.
They're the worst.
Counting themselves out. So we would be with the win 2-1. Buffalo would be 1-3. If we beat the Dolphins, we would be 3-2. They'll be 2-2. We would control our destiny the rest of the way as long as we can get ourselves another win.
No, because right now we're 2 games behind.
It would be us. Remember, we just have to have the winning record in the division.
Raiders and Chargers.
Yeah, you're right.
We're
the
behind
Dolphins
Raiders
and the
Chargers
Jets are the
right
only
now.
ones.
Yeah, no. Like, we don't even have to worry about because you're thinking of wild card. The only way to the playoff.
I'm only thinking wild card. No,
I'm thinking about like in our division right now, we're 2 games behind the Dolphins.
In terms of overall record, yeah.
Right.
Divisionally, no.
Jesus Christ, you're right, man. We're actually very much still in this fight.
It's technically more so a 3-way race because the Patriots are also 2-2 in the division, but they're most likely to be the ones to lose to everybody else, right? So realistically, it's Jets and it's the Dolphins, and if we win these next 2 games, we're leading our division. We'll end up looking like the Seattle Seahawks. I think their rookie year with Russell Wilson. Yeah, losing record, won the division.
Are you sure about
the playoffs?
No, wait a minute. If we win these next 2, put it up. If we go 2-0 these next 2 games, we're leading the division still.
Yes. Hold on, give me one.
Wait. If we win though, because Dolphins are 6-3, we're 4-5.
Oh,
those are 5-4.
Right.
There we go.
It'd be a tied record.
I do this.
We have the tiebreaker.
All right. Here we go.
Gunny saw the light now. He's looking.
Look, I was telling you, bro.
He went from rum to his face. That's 2 different memes in one day.
Our season is still very much so
alive.
Gunny, can you just stay with me? I hate this fucking team.
I do, bro. They drive me insane. They suck the life out of me, man. Everything. And yet somehow, some way, they keep bringing me back. They reel me back in.
It's like that commercial. It's like that commercial with the fishing pole and the dollar thing.
Oh yeah, gotta be a little bit quicker.
Yeah, quicker than that. It's literally that, Gunny. That's what it literally is.
Oh my God, you are right, bro. If we win these next 2 games,
I'm telling you.
We're number 1 in the AFC East.
Look, I was saying last night,
these next 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks.
I was swimming in anger. Everything was swirling. This morning, I woke up and realized we still have an excellent shot at still making the playoffs. Granted, like I mentioned, the most comparable team we're talking about here is we are the Seattle Seahawks in Russell Wilson's rookie year. Then you pray and hope that Aaron Rodgers can actually still come back.
Yeah. That's what me and you were talking about behind the scenes, DK. These 2 weeks are going to be very interesting.
But wait, hold on. Dolphins are on a bye week. They play next week. We don't play them next week. So then they would have to lose to whoever they're playing next week, which is the Raiders, I think. They're playing the Raiders next week.
It won't matter.
Yeah, it would.
No, if we in our division.
Yes, it would. Because they will be 7. Technically, they'll be 7
You're thinking conference.
No, they'll be 7-3. No, I'm not. Look at it. They'll be 7-3. Even if
they go
win out,
if they go 3-3 in the division and we finish 4-2, we're champs.
No, because the only time the division record matters is if you got the overall records. Like so, if they got more wins than us, ultimately they still win the AFC East. Even if we got swept in the AFC East, the record is gonna that's the tiebreaker. So in order for us to take it, we would have to tie their record. And then the division record comes into play. So if they beat the Raiders this coming week, that'll be them at 7 games. So by the time we play them and we beat the next 2, they'd still be first, but we'd be in second within distance. And Aaron Rodgers comes back. You know what I'm saying? And my God, man, you're not wrong. We're still within reach, which is shocking to me when you really break it down like this. We shouldn't be. This is almost embarrassing that we're still this close to it. It just goes to show that the AFC East is more the AFC least. But
It's true.
But we are right there to go ahead and take it, man. And fuck me, man.
Hold on.
I'll say this.
I might
Just
have
have
thought about this wrong.
Yeah, I just realized they're gonna play.
Okay. You may be right. I gotta dig into this a little bit more. But the season that the Seahawks went with a losing record, the Rams were also 7-9, and they beat them out in the division. So
yeah, the overall records still take precedence. The only time if we tie, let's say the Jets and the Dolphins finish with 10-7, right? Then the division record kicks in to decide the winner. So, like, let's say it could be if all four of us finish 10-7 somehow, the division winner is decided by the AFC East division champion is decided by the division record. But they could have gone 0-6 against the freaking their only losses were against the AFC East, but they won 11 games and we won 10 games and we went flawless in the AFC. They'd still win the division.
Yep. Here it is. At least if this holds true.
Yep. There it is. All games in the final record count towards winning the division. Correct. A team can go 10-6, losing all division games and still win the division if no other team in the division is better than that. Yep, there it is.
I feel like that would actually be an interesting rule change if they made it to where if you win your division, you can actually still become the champion.
If you get swept in your division, it don't matter if you went fucking whatever it is, 11 and 6.
Yeah.
If you can't win a game in your division, it doesn't matter. Whoever has the most division wins. That will be insane. That would be
dope. I don't know why they haven't thought about that. If I win my division,
right,
bitch, I am the champ. I don't give a fuck what this record say.
but then what happens with that is, then if you go 6-10 or 6-11 in your division,
I don't
and
care.
Nobody else.
I don't care. You weren't good enough to beat the worst person in your division.
I mean, he just wants to be champ.
It's not about the Jets. In general, I think this will be a dope thing for the NFL as a whole. If you're telling me you're the Eagles, you go 14-2, but you lose to everybody else in the NFC East, that's your fault. You're still going to be a wild card team, but you couldn't win your division. That's your fault.
That'll be interesting.
That's generally from a coaching standpoint. Every time I hear a head coach talk, priority A, win the division.
Yes, but. Yeah,
it's a long shot, but I like it. It's a long shot, but
I mean, ultimately, we're
signing up for the petition, bro. I'm getting this.
He said, "I'm getting it done."
He's gonna do it.
Ultimately, what's crazy is we're still in this, and I didn't. Like this morning, I woke up and I was calling it quits. Now, don't get it twisted. I don't believe our offense is going to figure it out in time for Aaron Rodgers to make a difference. But we're not talking the rest of the season. We're talking the next 4 games. And of those 4 games, we only need you to bring us home 2 of them, preferably the 2 AFC East games.
Yes.
And then you bring in an Aaron Rodgers. So you're saying there's a chance, man. But if I'm being honest, I feel like we're just setting ourselves up for more heartbreak.
It's a small chance. It's a small chance, Scotty. But
if I'm not mistaken, losing last night, it dropped us from. If we had one, it was 55% chance make the playoffs. Right, we would have been in the number 8 slot for the AFC. Boom, in a playoff slot. Just don't mess it up. Now I think we dropped to 14, and our chances are 25% or 23% to make the playoffs. And when when Zach Wilson is your quarterback, that might as well be 0%, bro. Like I just don't see this kid. And again, not his fault. He's a backup quarterback. In all actuality, the fact that we've won the games we've won with a backup quarterback, no other team could. If the Dolphins had to play freaking their backup quarterback against our roster, the first freaking they won maybe 2 games. It's you got to look at it that way in terms of like, man, with the backup, we were still able to go ahead and somehow, some way beat some pretty good teams and be competitive with some pretty good teams. Not many teams can say that. And Zach Wilson is probably the worst backup in the NFL. So put that together, bro.
On offense and everything.
So, I think people are getting stuck on the fact that they want the quality of the wins to be high. And basically, we're kind of, at least the way I see it, I'm on the other end of the spectrum, right? The defense is so elite. The special teams is so good that the offense literally doesn't even have to do the bare minimum for us to get wins.
Facts. We're not even asking for the bare minimum, bro. Give us 1 score a game. one. The offense can average 7 points a game, and that's enough for this team. Special teams will get their field goals. We got Greg the Leg doing his thing. The defense is going to get us some turnovers, maybe a score here and there. But that's how incredibly talented the roster is, minus the quarterback. And I think Hackett, minus Hackett as well. I'm becoming to not be afraid of Hackett. Let's be honest. But here we are at 4 and 5 right now. Just mind boggled that we're still having conversations that we had last year about this team when they started off and making us feel good about ourselves. And then they've, of course, let us down post-bye week.
Hey, any given Sunday, any given week, it's the stress of being a Jets fan. Before we leave, because I actually got to go, do you guys have any final thoughts? I guess not. Okay, here we go. No, I'm kidding. Go on.
Yeah, bro. It's mock draft season, boys. I'm still gonna stick with it. It's mock draft season.
Look out for Gunny's video dropping today.
They're coming. Oh yeah, that video is dropping later today. I gotta finish editing it and I'll drop it.
We'll chat about it here at some point.
Right.
All right. Stay tuned for my head coaching candidates video.
Head coaching most wanted list.
Catch Gino everywhere. Yeah,
Gino's all over the place. Just turn on YouTube. You'll find him. Type in YouTube Jets. You'll see Gino.
Facts.
Or baseball, soccer, or basketball. I'm there too. But guys, thank you in the chat for coming through. Got some new people in the chat that came through. I know we had Legend. I know we had Elmo. Wild Wave. Appreciate you with the regular. Dark Soldier, Harlem. If I forgot anyone, I'm sorry. But thank you, even Dakota. Thank you so much, people in the chat. There's Gunny Gumby, DKBX. Follow them.
Time out. One more thing. We are in the process of getting a giveaway together. We're going to go ahead and get all the details together.
That's right. Yeah.
We're going to need y'all to be tuning in here over the next couple of weeks as we fine tune the last bit of
next week.
Of details.
Next week.
All right. So next week we're going to be dropping the details about the giveaway. So make sure you're following us. You're subscribed on all our socials, especially here on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
And then stay tuned. It's coming next week.
Definitely. This is Jets Flight Squad. I'm Italy Jet, Gunny Gumby Situation Report, and DKBX. Have a great week. Go Jets. Take your blood pressure medication.
Peace. Be easy,